Evening, everybody. We're so glad to have you with us this evening. For about a decade, one of the first events of Family Weekend is a reception early Friday evening called the Discovery Pass Reception. It's usually by special invitation for parents who are members of the President's Parent Council, which you're going to hear more about in a moment, and for families who purchase a Discovery Pass package for the weekend, which included special parking privileges, the Friday night reception, a bag of CNU swag, and a few other fun surprises over the course of the weekend. But there's really been no programming content. Really, all the Friday evening event allowed families to truly discover was each other, which is great, some good food and a libation, and a convenient meeting place for parents and their captains from which they could head out together for dinner or an athletic event or a student performance at the Ferguson or, Target. But in this year of COVID, when we're all afforded the opportunity to revisit and reinvent, we decided to make the Discovery Gathering a time when we provide you with more substantive information and for free. Since we can't water and feed you this year, we thought we would feed you differently. And in trying something new, perhaps we'll find a new component of the Discovery Gathering that we'll maintain moving forward. So over the next 50 minutes or so, our goal is to help you discover the many ways that you as parents can be engaged in the life of CNU while you have captains on the campus, and even after they graduate and become captains for life. We will suggest opportunities for involvement with and support of all kinds of academic and co-curricular programs here, and for ways you can help to open doors for current students and young alums too, as they begin to explore what their lives will be when they leave us and put their CNU degrees to work. Time and again, we find that even as students fall in love with this place, their parents do too. So tonight, we hope you will leave this discovery session with an array of ideas for how you can have your own relationship with CNU, certainly surrounding the things that your sons and daughters love and pursue, but also around things that follow your own passions. Some are free, time is the only cost. Some have minimal fee, and some invite gift commitments at certain levels. But our job tonight is to tell you about as many of those as we can, and then you decide what best fits for you and your family. So your daughter may be a rock star on the women's lacrosse team. You're going to hear from one of those in just a minute. And you will hear about how to connect with the parents and alums who lift up that marvelous team. But you may have been a theater major, and finding out more about what's happening in Theater CNU might be a way for you to exercise and rekindle that love for life on the stage. The good news is we can help you do both. Your son may be a leader on our service programs through the Center for Community Engagement as a Bonner Scholar. And we'll talk about ways you can help expand new service opportunities for our hundreds of students who participate in those programs locally and around the country every year, even and perhaps particularly in these days of virtual support and service. And you will hear from parents of captains who are members of the President's Parent Council and what joining that group has afforded them during their students' years as captains and beyond, and a special invitation to come aboard. So let's begin. Our first panelists are Katie Chess and Yulia Batrova. Katie is currently the Assistant Director of the Captain's Crew in Athletics. She was a rock star on our women's lacrosse team when she was a captain. She was a PLP student, and she also worked in admission for a year as an ambassador after she graduated. Yulia is our Director of Athletic and Parent Giving Programs. She works directly with our President Parent Council, but she also works closely with Katie on some of the major gift initiatives surrounding our athletics programs. And so I would love to turn to these two fine women to tell you more about opportunities with athletics at Christopher Newport.
Thank you, Adelia. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I would like to think that I have the best job in advancement. While the captains and the students are the heartbeat of Christopher Newport, I know that you are the ones who make their captain experience possible. And for that, thank you. So the reason that I love my job is because not only do I get to know the captains, but I get the families who brought them into the world and continuing their education experience. And as Christopher Newport would like to say, the hearts and the minds of these young people. I oversee the President Parent Council, which is a generous group of parents who support the university in addition to their tuition dollars. Many of parents choose to support athletic and academic programs that are either close to their heart or close to the heart of their captains. There are two giving tiers within the President Parent Council, and we want to honor you. And under normal circumstances, we would be all gathering on campus, visiting in person, visiting with your captains and your guests. But unfortunately, we have to see you virtually this year, but we're so delighted to have you as a part of a Christopher Newport family. So while folks choose to support different programs, whether they're academic or athletic at Christopher Newport, this is where my relationship and partnerships really with Katie comes together, as Katie is able to help us connect folks and parents and to colleagues on the athletic side with folks who support specific programs, whether it's a sport or several different sports. Some of the parents who choose to support the university as the President Parent Council members split their giving, for example, to the arts or athletic or two different academic programs. And we honor you accordingly, whether it's with starting from our special parking decals to special event invitation with President and Rosemary Tribble, to special seats at commencement, and the list goes on. And I'm happy to continue the conversation or answer any questions that you may have if you want to reach out to me offline after this event or in the chat box. And I will be delighted to follow up with you. We're so thankful that you were able to join us. We're so glad you're at CNU. And we look forward to working with you and serving you as your family and your captain. And from here on, I would like to hand it off to Katie to continue the conversation.
Thank you, Yulia. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. As Adelia mentioned, my name is Katie Chess, and I'm currently the Assistant Director of the Captain's Crew in our athletic department. So I kind of get to bridge between athletics and advancement, and I get two teams, which is great because I was a women's lacrosse player, and everything I did, both during my time and after, has been a team effort, and I love how much we get to collaborate there with people like Yulia as well. As the Assistant Director of the Captain's Crew, I get to handle all of our ticketed athletic events and the fundraising for the athletic department. A little bit on my background, I graduated from CNU in 2018 with my degree in communication. And during my time on campus, as I mentioned, my main involvement was a member of the women's lacrosse team, where I served as a captain for 2 years. I got to see as a student athlete firsthand how parents can get involved, specifically in student athlete experience. My parents were able to attend so many of my games at home, away, or virtually. They're always live streamed for all to view. But they also chose to help support the program financially, which many parents will do. And those raised funds impacted the student athletes' experience to create a well-rounded Division III experience for them, which I got to be the beneficiary of for 4 years. By supporting the women's lacrosse program, they're also given President's Parent Council benefits. So they kind of got to double dip their gift. They got to help support what they knew and what they were passionate about with women's lacrosse. But they also got all these great university benefits, like the events and things that Yulia had mentioned, and you'll hear more about from some of our President's Parent Council parents. What's amazing to me is that not only did my parents support me, but they got to create their own connections and relationships with people on this campus. It's funny today, often they're invited to dinner or drinks with my coworkers without me around. But that's just the place that this is. They have such deep-rooted connections now because they really got to be invested in and invest with people on this campus. They love this place as much as I do, and I'm forever grateful to the university for providing that experience for my family. In my current position, I also get to assist in raising those funds now for the programs and help current student athletes continue to have a great experience like myself. It says bonus funds that the programs are able to raise that really help build exactly what it is they want and help them kind of create that championship culture that's such deep rooted in what we expect of our student athletes here on campus. The other side of my job, I get the great pleasure of managing our athletic ticket office, where many football parents, cheer, dance, band, basketball, all take advantage of purchasing season tickets. This is an opportunity welcome to all to purchase. A lot of local families will also take advantage of that. But I encourage everyone to come to a CNU athletic event. It's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and other than football and basketball, they're entirely free. So you can just walk in with your student. I hope sometime soon, when the fields are back open and the courts are shining down with light again, that we'll see you at a game and that you'll be in the stands cheering on the Captains to victory. And I'll turn it back to Adelia to introduce some of our President's Parent Council families.
Thank you, Katie. You know, it's important to hear that one of the most important things we can do for our student athletes is be fans. You're going to hear from another colleague in a few minutes that one of the most important things you can do for our student artists is be an audience. So there are many ways to do those things, even in the virtual world, that Kim will talk about in a little while. But fans and audience members feed our students' souls in ways like nothing else. Now we have two sets of Christopher Newport parents and members of the President's Parent Council, Stephen and Christine Dillard, and John and Chris Walker. All of Stephen and Christine's kids attended CNU. Elizabeth Dillard finished her undergraduate degree this past spring and is now in the MAT program, and Caroline Dillard is a freshman. John and Chris are parents to Jordan, class of 2015, Shelby, class of 2017, and Alyssa, class of 2021. I'm pretty sure that's 100% of the kids in that family too. John and Chris have served on several boards with Christopher Newport and have been members of the President Parent Council throughout their daughter's time at Christopher Newport. So my friends, if you all will please share your words with us.
Hi there. Great to be here with you guys tonight. We have been traveling back and forth to Christopher Newport since 2010. That was the first time we set foot on that campus. And like Katie said, I mean, the campus and the people there really have become a part of our lives. Like Adelia said, we've had 3 daughters that all attended Christopher Newport. They all had very different experiences, but they've all had wonderful experiences. Jordan graduated in 2015. She had a molecular biology degree, and she's currently getting another degree, getting her bachelor's in nursing in an accelerated program. Shelby graduated in 2017. She was a marketing manager, and she's currently working as a realtor in Northern Virginia. Our youngest daughter, Alyssa, is the one left at Christopher Newport. We have no more. So we're done unless we start adopting other kids. She's a senior in the biotech program. She's majoring in integrated biology, minoring in Spanish and business. She's also on the Student Honor Council. She's a captain on the club soccer team, president of FCA. She's a very busy girl. Yeah. She likes to get involved in as much as she possibly can. So Christopher Newport was a great place for her. What Adelia didn't mention is we actually do kind of have a 4th person. Our daughter Jordan married Cole Kelly, who also graduated in 2015. So after he graduated, he was in the Richmond Police Department. He was their 2017 Rookie Officer of the Year. And then last March, he graduated from the FBI Academy, and now he's a special agent in Boston, where he and Jordan now live. So.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard all about the stories about how CNU is rising up the ranks of the colleges and universities in the nation. Most recently, I believe CNU is ranked as the number 4 regional university in the South. Yet for all of its excellence, CNU is still a very young university. We do not have the hundreds of years of alumni that our sister colleges and universities around the state have. And our graduates, in most cases, are still too young to have made their financial mark in the world. So we're here to tell you a bit about the President's Parent Council and hope you will consider joining. One of the reasons we joined is that we believe that particularly at this stage of CNU's history, it takes supportive parents, people just like you, who contribute annually and make the difference in CNU not just being a good university, but an exceptional university. As public funding is tightened, the state of Virginia will always make sure that CNU is good, but it's really the President's Parent Council that's going to provide the resources to make it great. We've all heard President Tribble talk about leading students to a life of significance. And the funding that parents provide through the PPC is what allows CNU to make the students' experience there really meaningful. And whether it's a donation to the general fund that allows the band to accept an invitation to march in the Queen's Jubilee Parade in London, or an athletic team to attend an international tournament, it might be a gift to the Create a Captain fund that would help a student attend CNU who otherwise may not have the resources, or a contribution to the Lighthouse Fund to help a student whose townhome off campus has burned down. Wherever your donation goes, it will greatly enhance your son or daughter's experience at CNU. And that's because life at a university doesn't happen in a vacuum. So maybe it's not your son or daughter who was in the band or on the athletic field, and hopefully it's not their townhome that burns down. But what it means to other students to see their band on TV, or their athletic teams having success, or their school rally around a student in need is really invaluable. We've also found that the President's Parent Council is a way to stay involved at the university without infringing on our daughter's experience there. So we can be down there, not necessarily always in their way. And it's a way to have our own parent group when we visit the campus. We've made wonderful friends through the PPC. It provides an opportunity to get to know President Tribble, the deans of the various schools, professors, and other decision makers at the university. And because we are usually meeting them at events that our daughters could attend also, they too have been able to meet these people. And so why does that matter? Well, I had an opportunity to ask the provost, David Dowdy, how many kids graduate in Virginia each year from undergraduate schools. You know, how many are receiving their bachelor's degree in 1 year? The answer was 65,000 to 80,000 every year. So that's that number of kids entering the workforce and trying to find a job. So what that told me, that was just graduating from college and putting that on a resume probably isn't enough, that our kids needed to have other experiences during their years at CNU that would also help them build a resume for when they got out. So knowing these deans and professors has provided opportunities for internships, research projects, study abroad opportunities, and other ways that they may otherwise have missed out on or never even heard about. So I hope you'll consider joining the President's Parent Council, whether through a general contribution or to a part of the university that you really have a heart for. It allows President Tribble and the faculty there the ultimate flexibility to put our students first. And ultimately, it's a difference between CNU being a good university and a great university. It's the best $1,000 you would ever spend.
And I'll pick up from there and speak for me and Christine. We are in 2 different physical locations. I know that sounds weird, but she's at our home in Richmond. Hello, dear. I haven't seen you all day. And I'm somewhere else. But we are married. I just want to put that out there. We've been at this for 28 years. And as the introduction said, 100% of our kids are enrolled in CNU right now. We have 2 daughters. Elizabeth graduated, if you want to call it that, graduated back in May or April or May, and then immediately went into CNU's Master of a Teaching program, where she'll graduate for real this coming spring. And CNU is going to more than well equip her to go get a job as an elementary school teacher, which has been her passion since I can't remember when. And then, as happens a lot at CNU, and if you're a parent of a freshman, and if that's your oldest kid, you might experience this too. We experienced it where we started realizing, what's this deal about multiple siblings going to CNU? That just seems strange to us as freshman parents. Well, as we got involved in the university, we started to understand it. It's a special place. And I'm not a person who's given to much drama. I'm a business guy. I'm straightforward. I'm called like it is. And I thought it was all a bunch of hooey. But I'll tell you what, it's real. It's a special, special place. And our oldest daughter, who was pretty much scared to go to college anywhere, walked around this campus with her mother as a junior in high school and said, "Mom, I can see myself here." And I'm not going to go much further down that path because I'll just start crying. But it's really important for y'all, if your parents are freshmen and you're just getting started in this, your kid is at a really, really, really good place. I'll talk to you for a minute about why Kristen and I joined the President's Parent Council. When our first kid, Elizabeth, came to CNU, we, like all the other parents, were in setting sail, and we're sitting in the Ferguson Center and we're listening to somebody up on stage, and we're in that great big auditorium, and they're going on and on about the school. And this literally happened. The person was saying whatever they were saying. They were talking about the significance of CNU. Christine and I were sitting there together, and we looked at each other and said, we ought to give to this place. We ought to give more than just our tuition. And maybe that sounds crazy, but for us, it's possible. We're blessed and we can give. And said, Well, we want to do that. And I'm 51 years old, so I've been, I was 47, I guess, whatever, if I'm doing the math. For 47 years, the only place my money ever went was either to my church or like to the Red Cross or to Habitat for Humanity or the local fire department. Christine and I never gave to like higher institutions or art or anything like that. We gave I don't know what you call like the American Cancer Society, but those types of things. So we're not typically givers in that space. But we looked at each other, we said, this is the right place to put our money. This is the right place. It's a young university, as the Walkers were saying. It's a chance for you as a parent to have a voice and how things get shaped. But I'll tell you what, we've been at this for 4 years. We continue to give, so we're in our 5th year now with our youngest, Caroline, and we'll continue to give throughout her time. So I guess that makes 8 years running, whatever. We don't really join the President's Parents Council to have a voice. We could have one if we wanted it. But we join and we give every single year because we totally understand that we are investing in people who know what they're doing. I mean, take Kevin Hughes. That guy knows what he's doing. Take the beginning of this year where he sent that memo out to the students, and thankfully our students sent it to us so we saw it, about COVID, where he straight up told everyone, look, you can't engage in these behaviors and expect to stay here. That's not who we are. Do you know that there's human beings on the planet that don't do that? But that's who's running CNU. CNU is run by people who are intelligent, they are competent, they are compassionate, and they care about your kids almost as much as maybe the parents do. So that's a lot from me about why we join. Christine had wanted me to say these things because she's not much on public speaking. But we're maybe the other end of the spectrum for why we do what we do. And if you're out there listening and saying, we want to be a great big voice, then you can have it. We want to just give our money and know that it's to go into competent people. You can do that. You can do everything in between. It's a great place. It's afforded us the comfort that folks take the money and they do right with it. It's not wasted. It's truly invested. And then the other thing it's afforded us is it's true that of the list of benefits, you do get access to university officials if you need them. It's helped us twice in 4 years with minor little issues, but no big deal. And because CNU knows what they're doing, stuff got handled like that. So I encourage you to consider it. I know money is a precious commodity, but so are your kids. And they're not a commodity. They're just a precious jewel. So I I'd ask you to consider investing or taking a look at it. And then Christine and I'll hang around for comments or questions when we get to the Q&A.
Thank you. Thank you, John and Christine and Stephen and Chris. Y'all are the best, and we're grateful to you, and we're so grateful for your beautiful children that you've shared with us. And so now I get to introduce my colleague, Kim Henson, who is our Senior Director of Advancement for the Arts. She's been at Christopher Newport for 8 years, and she has the joy of working closely with all the arts functions at the university, Theater CNU, the music department, the fine arts department, fine art and art history, and of course, our beautiful, extraordinary Ferguson Center for the Arts. So Kim, if you would share some information on how parents can be involved in the arts at Christopher Newport.
Certainly. Good evening. I'm very excited to share with you ways that you can help elevate the arts for students at Christopher Newport. Yulia had mentioned earlier that she had the best job in our advancement team, which I agree she does. She gets to work with the parents. But I also think I have the best job because I get to bring joy to people's lives and getting them involved in the wonderful programs at Christopher Newport. We're thrilled to have students back on campus and practicing their craft at the stages of the Ferguson Center for the Arts. Even though our stages are closed to the public right now, they are alive with the sounds of learning. And Adelia had mentioned earlier about coming out and supporting the students in their performances, even though they may not be able to come to the stages, the theaters right now. You can see them, many of them virtually, and artists crave the audience. So one way you can really, really get involved is to attend those shows and support them. If you are interested in that, we have some links that we can send you for the upcoming Music Friends and Music shows and Theater Guild. We have some special societies also that you may be interested in joining. I know many of you have already joined, but I'll share a few highlights. Friends of Music is our wonderful program of supporters who offer financial assistance that provide scholarships for music majors. These scholarships are more important than ever and reward talent and merit and help address financial hardship. Parents last year raised $122,000 in scholarships. This came from many donors at various levels. The first level of Friends of Music starts at $100. So don't let the $122,000 number scare you. There's wonderful ways you can get involved and still also get great benefits, including name recognition in programs, department newsletter, concert updates, invitations to special events, and much more. One of our annual events that we do for the music department is Holiday Happening, which is typically in December. This year it will be virtual, but it still will be ticketed, I believe, and it's a great performance. So if you can come out and participate online, we'd love to see you there. Our next level of support is the Theater Guild. And this is just like Friends of Music, but this supports students in theater and dance. This year we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Theater Guild. This group has raised a tremendous amount of money over the years. Again, it all goes towards scholarships for students. The program offers a variety of benefits, including vouchers for the performances, invitations to events, and depending on the level, the first level starts at $50. So what I meant to say, at different levels, you get a certain number of vouchers to the performances. While access to the performances may be a little different this year, your support is needed more than ever. The fall first virtual performance is The Living, and that's at the end of October. Attending shows virtually or in person is a wonderful way to show your dedication to the students. Both Friends of Music and the Theater Guild can offer scholarships that can really be the deciding factor in making a dream of becoming a captain come true. Keep in mind that if you donate $1,000 to the President's Circle membership that Yulia and our wonderful parents just recently highlighted, you can direct that to different parts of the university, like the Theater Guild or Friends of Music. And I know several of you have already done that, and I thank you very much. At the heart of the arts here right now is the Ferguson Center for the Arts. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to that last slide with the shows. That shows you some of the upcoming shows that are planned on the horizon. Most of the other ones are in the spring. So hopefully our world will be a little bit different and we'll be able to see some of these live, but in the meantime, please see them virtually. At the heart of the performing arts is the world-class Ferguson Center for the Arts, which features a 1,700-seat Diamondstein Concert Hall, a 500-seat People's Theater, and a 250-seat Studio Theater. And our students right now are using our theaters to the maximum as classrooms. Generous donors have helped enrich, entertain, and inspire millions of people, ensuring world-class performances and innovative programs are accessible to all. Artists from Tony Bennett to Aretha Franklin have graced our stages. And when the stars align just right, our students have had unique opportunities to attend master classes, and even one of our students got to perform with Andrew Bocelli years ago. And this year we are celebrating the 15th anniversary. We have our executive director, Bruce Bronstein, has produced these 15th anniversary Ferguson Center Spotlight Series, which will show exciting artists that have been here over the years and magical performances. And we already launched the first one, but if you'd like to see more, please let us know and we'll add you to that list as well. So you'll see what's happening what's happened over the past and what's going to be coming up in the future. Ferguson donors sustain operations and we offer exclusive benefits at various levels. We have Partner in the Arts program, which starts at $100. And then we have our top level Encore Society, which offers a lot of exclusive benefits. So if you would like to get involved with the Ferguson Center, we'd love to have your support. And next, our next chapter is a marvelous new Fine Arts Center. Hopefully some of you have seen that as you've been to campus. This will be a new chapter for the visual arts, and the plans are for it to open in 2021. You can see here the 3 glass domes symbolizing the billowing sails of a ship. The exhibit hall will feature over 180,000 cubic feet of state-of-the-art exhibit space. There'll be new classrooms, lecture halls, and a lot of lecture studios also for music and theater students. Not only the visual arts, but there'll be new spaces for our theater and music students. So we have a new charter membership that we'll be launching soon. So if you'd like to be part of our next chapter and make a impact on the students' lives that are in the visual arts, stay tuned, we'll have much more. And you can see right here in a couple of shots, that's the grand entrance of the atrium of the Fine Arts Center. And the other picture is the main gallery, which is still all under construction, but it's a very exciting time. We encourage your students, some other ways to really get involved here is encourage your students to experience the many cultural opportunities at Christopher Newport. I know I've talked to some over the years and they say, oh no, I haven't been to a show at the Ferguson Center. Well, you've got this wonderful facility right here, and now you're gonna have this fabulous new Fine Arts Center. Encourage them to take advantage of it because it's a wonderful facilities. There are many internships and jobs in the arts that your students may like to pursue. I know Libby Wesley will share more with you next. And we look forward to a time when we can all come together and you can see spectacular performances at the Ferguson Center and enjoy the arts at the dazzling new Fine Arts Center. But thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to Adelia.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. So much going on in the world of the arts on this campus. Next, as Kim mentioned, is my colleague Libby Wesley, who is the director for the Center for Career Planning on our campus. Libby and her team support all of our students and alumni when it comes time to find internships and job opportunities. So something that you all as parents might be able to help us with, and Libby can tell you more about ways that you can be helpful to all of us. Libby?
Wonderful, thank you so much. Well, I'm very excited to be here and to have the chance to talk to parents. I'm sorry I can't see all your faces. That's what I'm missing. I have a little presentation I will share, hopefully. Share. And I trust that you're seeing that. Someone will chat me if you aren't. So I know as parents, you often wear you wear many hats, and I'm grateful for the support that you give to your students and to the Center for Career Planning. And you know, when they come in and talk to us in individual appointments, they talk about you. So you have a great deal of influence on them. And I know that you want the best for them, and we want the best for them as well at CNU. So two of the hats that you wear, one of them I think is your hat as a parent of a student and concern about your student, your son or daughter. So this first slide I have here has some things that you might talk to your student about, encourage them to consider, especially in these kinds of times. So, you know, help students to think about fields they haven't previously considered, and help them think of fields that might be related to their ideal. So it may take some time to get to their ideal, but it's still entirely possible, even in our COVID-19 kind of situation. One of the things that we encourage in the Center for Career Planning is for every student to have at least one internship. And an internship is something that can be perceived very broadly. So it doesn't have to have the position title of internship. It could be research with a faculty member, research on another campus. It could be volunteering at an organization, but getting some kind of career-related experience. Another thing that we've been talking to students about, and so an idea you might plant in your students' mind, is to think about short-term projects instead of entire summer-long kind of a project. So they might be able to piece their summers together a little differently before with several mini experiences instead of one summer-long kind of a thing. And my biggest worry right now is that students will perceive there are no jobs or internships out there, and they won't even try to look. But you know, the good news is there's always hiring at the entry level. Even no matter how bad the press is, it's still there. So we don't want them to postpone or delay thinking about these kinds of things. So challenge them. Their academics here at CNU are their best asset. So we need to help them to articulate what they're getting out of each of the classes they're taking and how that might translate into a particular career field. So those are a couple of points in your hat as a parent of your student and how you might help. And my next slide is about some ways that you can help other students at Christopher Newport, how you can help the Center for Career Planning. So those of you that are in full-time positions working or have worked before, we're always looking for ways to build relationships with new organizations. And if your organization hires entry-level talent, and most organizations do in some fashion, maybe not in a huge organized mass, but in some way, let us know who the recruiting contacts are to organizations so that we can initiate some kind of a recruiting relationship. Often it's, you know, our tagline in the Center for Career Planning is you get jobs by talking to people. And so, you know, you get jobs by talking to parents, and have parents talk to organizations and tell them that we're a good place to be connected to. If you see on your organization's website that they've posted an internship or entry-level positions, if you let us know in the Center for Career Planning, Sarah Hobgood is, she oversees our employer development initiatives. And so you can see her email there. So I'm sending her an email to alert her, and then that's another way that she can share the opportunity with students, but also connect with the organization to make sure that relationship gets established or is nurtured and maintained. If you would like to talk to students about your career path, your job function, your industry, we'd be happy to have you for an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours, and schedule you for individual info chats with students who might be interested in the same areas that you are. And you know, in our virtual environment, that's very easily done and hopefully doesn't take up as much of your time. We're happy to do that. I put the last bullet on my slide as kind of our areas of greatest need. And so, you know, one of the reasons why there are areas of greatest need, even in our non-COVID-19 situation, is that these industries tend not to hire large clumps of people. And so it really is more about kind of those individual connections there. So if you are in these areas and can put us in touch with people there or represent these industries to students at Christopher Newport, we'd be extremely grateful. And that is my words there. Thank you so much for being here and for letting me chat with you tonight.
Thank you, Libby. I continue the ongoing battle with the mute button and tonight the camera as well. So I will prevail, however. We have a couple of more areas for you to hear from. I'm mindful of the time and I want to make sure that you have ample time to ask questions. I know that there have been a couple posed through the Q&A so far. So next, let me introduce you to my colleague and friend, Mackenzie Masterson. College is an exciting time, and so you might be inspired to explore new learning opportunities for yourself or for other members of your family. Mackenzie is the Assistant Director of the Lifelong Learning Society for us, and she is a Christopher Newport alumna, and she's here to talk to you a bit more about this very special outreach program that serves people of retirement age and invites them to be a part of the Captain's Learning community. Mackenzie?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Adelia, for such a great introduction to our program. As she said, I'm Mackenzie Masterson. I am the Assistant Director for the Lifelong Learning Society here at CNU. I'm just beginning my 5th year with Lifelong Learning since I graduated in 2015. I actually had the opportunity to work with Lifelong Learning before I graduated, and we joke that I just will stick around. When I was asked to participate in this panel, I was very excited. Both of my parents were very involved, very proud CNU parents. So the opportunity to speak on behalf of Lifelong Learning to you all was very exciting to me. So the Lifelong Learning Society is a membership organization. It is dedicated to people of retirement age who seek the opportunity to continue learning. We don't have any requirements to previous educational experience. Intellectual curiosity really is our only admission requirement. We have a very wide range of instructors. These instructors include local experts in many fields. Some of them are even our own members. We also have instructors from local educational and research institutions, as well as museums. We have a long-running partnership with the Mariners Museum. They always have something fun to present to our members. We also have many retired instructors. These are school teachers, physicians, emeritus CNU faculty, and even current professors at CNU. So if you do participate in our program, there's a chance your instructor will be someone that your student at CNU has had an opportunity to learn from. We have a very wide range of subjects available. Our languages include Spanish, French, Italian, Chinese, Arabic, and Latin, constantly growing on different topics. We've got lots of exercise classes, many art classes of different levels, different mediums, as well as writing, poetry, you name it. And in addition to these smaller, more interactive courses, we do have about 25 lecture courses each semester, and they range in topics from anywhere. A few of my favorites over the years are Dr. Bill Peach is a retired neurosurgeon and longtime lifelong learning member, taught a course for us called Don't Let the Old Man In, and it was about ways to not let yourself age. And do just what the title says, you don't let that old man in. Another one that I really enjoyed was Communication, Dialogue, and Public Civility. That was taught by a CNU professor, Dr. Sean Conable, who I actually had the chance to take a class from him as a communications major at CNU. So it was very fun for me to be able to reach out to a past professor and convince them that, hey, our program's great, you should come teach for us. And then the last one that kind of stood out to me, it was called 19 Crimes. That's a course by Dr. Ed Brash, who is actually a physics professor at CNU. He was inspired by his favorite wine, 19 Crimes, and presented us a history course on those who were banished to Australia in the 1700s. So they really are any kind of a background for the lecture topics. So each year we have over 700 or so members. We are usually in Newport News. Our classes are at the historic Yoder Barn. And we, again, have over 700 members. And so at this time, our program is completely virtual. We do really miss our in-person interaction, as everybody does in their programs right now. But we have had some exciting things come out of this virtual program. The most exciting opportunity thus far is our new program called the LLS Explorers. Now, this is a new program that we've just begun. It is a pilot for members of the CNU community that are too far away to participate in our in-person programs, have now been given the opportunity to participate from afar. So we're very excited to share our program with a broader range of people here at the, in our CNU community. So this Explorers program is kind of a like a snapshot of lifelong learning. So we have a Monday lecture series that you have access to, and then we also include 7 lecture courses you can attend. And our very first event for the Explorers is coming up this Friday. We invite CNU alumni, other friends of the university, that includes parents and even grandparents of our current students. And on Friday, October 2nd at 1:30, we will hear from Dr. Quentin Kidd. He is the Dean of Social Sciences at CNU and the Director of the Wasson Center for Civic Leadership. And he, a few weeks ago, gave us a presentation on Virginia in the 2020 elections. So we have that video available on our YouTube, and this event on Friday with Dr. Kidd is a chance to ask your questions and have a live conversation with him. So this is a pilot project. We do plan to follow up with some kind of a virtual program in the spring, but it really is a great opportunity for our wider CNU community to participate. So I'm very excited to tell you all about it this evening. And if you have any additional questions or would like to have more information, you can always contact me.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I love lifelong learning. It's one of my favorite programs that reaches outside the campus community and into the community around us, and now a broader community. I should let you all know, you're going to be given information at the end of this program tonight about how to send forward your interest. If you are interested in some of the programs that you're hearing about tonight, we hope that you will be. So that information will come at the end tonight. We have one more presentation for you before we try to entertain some of your questions, and then certainly can follow up with individual question answers after the session tonight too. And these are my friends from the Christopher Newport Center for Community Engagement. You'll be hearing tonight from Vanessa Buhlman, who is the director of the center, and from Jessica Deal, who is the Community Engagement Coordinator and a CNU alum who's a product of the center and its many programs. And so I'm delighted for them to talk to you about the different opportunities that their office offers to our parents and to families, and even more important, how you can help them help students who in turn help others. Ladies.
Thank you, Adelia, for that wonderful introduction. As Adelia said, my name is Jessica Deal, and I am the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Center for Community Engagement on campus. And my role as the coordinator is to work very closely with the nonprofit organizations within the Peninsula region and pair them up with our students based upon the students' volunteer interests, volunteer needs of the nonprofit organization, any internships that they may have. That all comes through me. So really one of the main things that you can do as a CNU parent with your CNU student, with your captain, is to go through our website, which is cnuengage.org. On there, we have a list of volunteer opportunities from our over 100 community partners, and new to this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have a plethora of volunteer opportunities, be they remote, local, remote, national, in-person, or a mixture of remote and in-person volunteer opportunities. And all of the nonprofit organizations that are listed on that webpage have been vetted. We have made sure that they're following COVID-19 guidelines. And then we also have COVID-19 guidelines that are coming from the center, how we want you to prioritize your volunteer service, making sure that your student is taking care of themselves, and also making sure that the community partner are being taken care of. Not only do we have all these volunteer opportunities, we also have 3 programs that are run out of the center, those being the Bonner Service Scholars, the Ferguson Fellowships, and the Service Distinction. Now, as a CNU alumni, I was also a President's Leadership Program student, so I was involved with the Center for Community Engagement. I had to serve 100 hours of community service as part of my PLP requirement. It wasn't until I was going through the website with my mother that we ran across the Service Distinction Program, which really drives home the idea of committed, consistent service to the local community. And going through this program with my mom, learning more about it, it made me realize that this is something that I want to do. I want to further myself as an individual by learning more about the community, but then also giving back to the local community and letting them realize that they have a committed, consistent volunteer that they can call upon whenever they need to.
Great, thank you, Jessie. Fantastic. As Adelia said, I'm Vanessa Buehlman. I'm the director of Christopher Newport Center for Community Engagement. And in the competition this evening for who has the best job at Christopher Newport, I think Jessie and I would be in the running for it, as we get to work with our phenomenal captains who take the time to leave campus and help strengthen our communities. Not only do we connect students to the community, but we also have the programs Jessie mentioned, and we have fellowships for students who do community-based research or community-based projects. Mr. Walker doesn't know it, but he set me up for this part of our conversation, that I'm going to share a secret with you all tonight, and that is the secret of service and the impact that it can have on your student, and setting your student apart when they graduate and are one of those 65 to 80,000 students who are graduating in Virginia alone. As Mr. Walker mentioned, Provost Dowdy is not only ensuring the quality of education that your captains are receiving, but he has those 4 pillars that he believes really elevates their academics and experience to set them apart when they graduate, because he knows what the competition is like. And Mr. Walker referred to 3 of them, which is undergraduate research, internships, and study abroad. But the 4th pillar at CNU is service. My son is a sophomore in college right now as well. So we, not that long ago, did the college search, and I heard about those first 3 pillars all the time at the different schools we visited. And then I heard about service as an aside. And that really drove home for me exactly how unique that is at CNU. So when it comes time for your student to apply to graduate schools or for jobs, they may have similar on-campus extracurricular experiences. They may have taken advantage of those 3 other pillars, but how many of those students are going to show that they took the time to leave campus and care for others who may be different than them and really help further their communities? I think it's a really special way for your student to set themselves apart. And that's where you guys come in. As Jesse mentioned, visiting cnuengage.org to see all that there is there to offer to your student, encouraging them to serve. For some of your students, they're used to serving. It's part of who they are. For some of your students, they'll say, I don't even know where to start. And that's where we come in. That's our whole job. Not only is there Jessica and myself, but we have a very large student staff. We have 5 who hold office hours and advise students. And then we have 16 other students who each work at one specific nonprofit site in the local community. And their whole job is to help connect other CNU students with that site. And there's also the opportunity to get connected through service clubs. So very easy to get connected in the community. The other way that you can help your student is serving with them. Right now, as Jesse said, we have virtual opportunities. So finding something you as a family are passionate about to serve together is a wonderful way to support them. Even if you don't do it virtually, when they're home over break, serving as a family is equally impactful. So supporting your own local communities. And if your student is going for something like service distinction, the hours they spend over their break serving can still count towards graduating with that honors. The last thing I'll mention is that if you are involved in a nonprofit organization, to please let us know. Right now, during the time of COVID, if there are virtual opportunities to support that organization, we can list those opportunities on our website and have students work with you in that organization. And even if virtual is not an option, to let us know so that over breaks, like summer, we can actually list that as a summer service opportunity. So students that live in your area can still serve with an organization that has a CNU connection, which is still pretty special. So we're really excited to work with you and your captain. So we really encourage you to reach out and contact us. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa and Jessica. Thank you both. And thank you for what you do for the students and for all of us with the work that you do. And so now I think we have a bit of time left for a couple of questions that have come in. If there are others, you certainly can put them forward, but I need to turn back to Kylie and let her run the show.
Hi, everyone. So it does look like we have a few questions. I would just like to first ask all of our panelists to turn their video back on just so we can see you all for this portion. And then we'll go ahead and get started. So the first question that we have tonight is actually for Libby in the Center for Career Services. So it says, does your office help with students with resumes, cover letters, etc.?
Of course, that's one of my favorite things to do is help students with their resumes. But you know what also is important these days are their online profiles. So making sure that their Handshake profile and their LinkedIn profiles are filled out with the same kind of information that would be on their resume, especially in this virtual recruiting kind of environment. We also help students figure out what they want to do. So if you have a first-year student who has no idea what they want to major in or what kinds of occupations are out there, meeting with us one-on-one can help them to figure out how to answer that question. And that's why we also encourage students to have at least one individual appointment with us in the Center for Career Planning every year. They can come more often than that, as often as they like, but at least once.
Great. Thank you so much, Libby, for answering that. I also would like to mention if anybody does have any questions, feel free to enter those into the Q&A section down at the bottom as well as we go through this. Another question, this one is for lifelong learning, so Mackenzie, is this offered to only families of CNU students?
No, so our program is open, our local program is open to all. In this expansion, the LLS Explorers is open to friends of the university as well. So if you have someone that you know of that would be interested in the program, we're more than happy to involve them.
Great, thank you so much for that answer, Mackenzie. I have a question for the President's Parents Council parents. So what has been your favorite moment of your time in the President's Parent Council?
Wow. Well, we've had some good opportunities to go some good places with folks. When you join the President's Parents Council, they'll provide you opportunities to do some things with the administrators and such. And we had some great trips. But really, the thing that I've enjoyed most is just being able to get on the campus with our daughters. And it's kind of like almost an excuse to go down and visit, but not just be in their hair the whole time. And like I said, we've made some great friends, and you too should be lucky enough one day to meet Martha Field. And if you are, then you'll understand why you should be a member of the President's Parent Council. So.
She should be part of your marketing.
Do the Dillards want to answer as well?
I don't know if Christine's gonna talk or not, so I will. My favorite moment, honestly, has been when we joined. I mentioned it earlier when I talked. We have not really taken advantage of a lot of the activities. There are plenty that are offered. But my favorite moment was realizing in my heart and in my head that this is the right place to support, the right thing to do. And we have never, ever, ever questioned that decision. And it's only been reinforced now for 5 years.
Great, thank you so much again for answering that question. This next question is for Katie with athletics. What are the travel opportunities for away football games?
That's a great question. So the teams, we're in the NJAC, which goes all the way up to New Jersey. And there's tons of games all over the place typically. Hopefully we'll have some games this spring that we can travel to. But when you're traveling, typically the team will kind of do their own hotel, and then you coordinate that yourself. But every school does ticketing differently. Some schools don't require you to purchase a ticket. So it's always just going on their website ahead of time and figuring out, do I need to buy a ticket? Can I just walk in? But kind of mostly on your own planning and with the coordination of the coaches, the players, and they have support on that side too that can help answer any questions when you're planning on going to cheer them on.
Thank you, Katie. One more question for the President's Parent Council parents. So what is something you wish you knew as a freshman parent?
Wow, because we've had 3 there.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, having 3 there, I say you do make all your mistakes with the oldest, right? And I think our last daughter had the advantage of watching the first 2 go through the university, and the planning that is required to do certain things, such as if you want to do a study abroad but still graduate in 4 years, that takes planning from your very first semester freshman year. And so there are things like that you have to do right now to make sure that all the credits are going to work out later. So academically, that's one thing that we definitely learned. I think the other thing that we've learned is that you have to let them, this is a time of growth. So if something needs to be done and someone needs to be called, they need to be the one to do that. They need to be the one to walk in and talk to the professor or talk to the administrator or whatever it is. That this is their time to grow up, really starting senior year of high school and forward. They need to start handling a lot of things on their own. You need a book, go get your book, right? It's a time of growth. And so we've really kind of known that from the beginning, but that was something that I think that I've seen a lot of parents struggle with along the way. But allow them to make mistakes now. You don't want them to be making mistakes during their first job. And fortunately, you have a lot of great people on the campus. The professors have been terrific with the girls when there were hiccups along the way, I'll just say, and allow them to make mistakes. Do you have anything more?
No, I think that kind of brings up one thought I had back to our oldest daughter, her freshman year. She was having a very hard time that first semester with one particular professor relationship. And she was just able to reach out and talk to other older, like upperclassmen, about what to do. And eventually she actually kind of found a mentor with a different professor in that same department. So again, just don't be afraid to go and talk to their professors if they need help, or older students even in the same major.
Thank you. Stephen or Christine, do you have something that you wish you knew?
I think the Walkers handled the student side of it perfectly, and I agree with everything they said. So I'll just quickly speak to maybe the university side of it, whereas as a freshman parent, I wish I understood how deeply invested every employee at Christopher Newport is, whatever level they are and whatever they're called with different levels and all. Everybody on the payroll at CNU is going to support your kid. And I'll close my part by telling you this. I think that Christopher Newport is like the Chick-fil-A of universities. And what I mean by that is that, and if you could understand fast food, what I mean by that is that, yeah, lots of universities and colleges do what they do, and they kind of do the same thing and whatever, but CNU just does it better. And I didn't know that as a freshman parent. I began to realize it, but 4 years, 5 years later, it's the absolute truth that every turn, this place has got your back. They're going to support you. They're more importantly going to support your kid. They're focused on your kid. Like the Walker said, they come in as a kid and they got to go out as a responsible adult. They're in a place that's going to help them do it. And man, they're just all over it from every single staff member. They're just all over it. And I wish I knew that 4 years ago, but I sure know it now.
Thank you. And Steve, you have a shout out from Tally Baratka. I apologize if I got that wrong, but they just said, great to see you on here. And that is all actually the questions we have. So we're going to wrap it up for the night. I just want to give a huge thank you to all of our panelists for this event. It means so much for you all to join us and share your expertise with all of the attendees tonight. I also would really like to thank all of the attendees for spending tonight with us. I just would like to remind you as well that Family Week is continuing throughout the remainder of the week. So we have a few more events. One is our Lunch and Learn session tomorrow with Dr. Angela Springer. So if you have any free time during your lunch hour, 12:15, feel free to log on to that as well. We also have a really cool virtual tour of our new Fine Arts Center that Kim was talking about earlier. So make sure you take some time and look at that as well. Again, thank you so much. And I also would just like to mention, like Adelia said earlier, if you have any additional questions or would like to contact any of the panelists tonight, please send an email to cnuevents@cnu.edu and we'll get you in contact with the right people. But that is all the time we have for tonight. Again, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Bye.